Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Run for Oak Hills podcast, the official podcast of the 2021 GCAA Summer Series. My name is Cade Tjomsland. I'm joined by Alex Gelman. And today is our very first episode of the Run for Oak Hills podcast. We got an exciting lineup for you guys. First, we're going to go into an interview with the CEO of the GCAA, Gregg Grost, followed by our previews of our 10 iconic courses that we'll be going through in the Summer Series. And then we'll finish off with another special guest, John Rice, our official sponsor of the Summer Series. But first, let me give a little introduction to myself, and then Alex will do one for his. My name is Cade Tjomsland. I just finished my freshman year at Palm Beach Atlantic University down in West Palm Beach, Florida, majoring in sports broadcasting, working for the Sailfish Sports Network, PBA's own digital sports network. I also run my own NFL podcast called NFL Study Hall. You can find it in the description below to this video.
And Cade over here, I'm out here in the West Coast right now covering the NCAA championships, but it's great to be here on the podcast. Just finished up my freshman year at Arizona State, studying sports journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. Run my own sports network called AG Sports Network. Do a lot of work with that. Have my own credentials for Arizona State athletics, but I'm looking forward to a great summer. Summer series is going to be great.
Yeah, man, this is our first Kickstart episode pretty much, and we've got an amazing slate of events that we're going to be able to do this summer. We're going to have these episodes coming out once every week or 2 weeks, and you just follow along the way. We'll get you guys all caught up on where we're going to be playing at, who's going to be playing, all the highlights, stats, and scores from the entire event all throughout the series. Right now, we'd like to go to our first guest, Gregg Grost. He's currently the CEO of the GCAA, but he has had a lot of experience in the golf world. First played at McLennan Community College and Texas Christian University, played a little bit professionally, but then went on to coach at Lamar University in 1981. He had a very successful career at Lamar, won 3 conference championships, and won a GCAA Coach of the Year. Moved from Lamar to Oklahoma University in 1986, where he won a national championship in '89, plus another Coach of the Year award. In September of 2000, he was hired as the executive director of the GCAA, and in 2005, he was elected into the GCAA Hall of Fame. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gregg Grost. Well, thank you, Gregg, for joining the Run for Oak Hills podcast. My first question for you today, we kind of want to start the base here. When did the idea of the Summer Series first begin, and what was the overall purpose?
Okay, thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit about the upcoming Summer Series. In 2019, the National Advisory Board for the GCAA, our board, started talking about things that needed to happen going forward to give student athletes more opportunities to play competition outside the traditional school year. Some of the top coaches in the country sit on that board were the ones that were at the top of the list talking about this, because basically with the advent of the WAGR, the World Amateur Golf Rankings, so many of your amateur tournaments now use that ranking as the basis for their exemption list. And what happens is you've got a whole lot more kids that want to play in those tournaments than there are spots in the tournament. Now you add in COVID, which condensed the size of the field, more manageable, mass gatherings protocols. And as a result, you have thousands of, and we'll talk about on the men's side, you have thousands of guys that want to play amateur golf in the summer. And what are they limited to? They're state amateurs. Some upstates have a stroke play and a match play. State opens. Not every state open is open to the amateurs. Some of them are strictly men. You have regional amateur tournaments that are fewer and farther between, and there's reasons for that. Why? Because so many of these college players want to play in the top rank event, and they're not interested in playing in something else. So our coaches said, look, and let's think about this at a tiered level. You got Division I, top of the food chain, Power 5, okay? So down after you get about 3 or 4 into that team, if they're really good, those guys don't make the top 150 of the WAGR either. So where are they going to play? All right? Now you go farther down the food chain, non-Power 5 and Division 1s, Division 2, 3, NAIA junior college, and those guys are rarely in the top 150. Not because they're not good players, because they don't get enough points during the school year in their tournaments because of quality of depth of fields, and because in many cases some of those kids, don't travel coast to coast playing in amateur tournaments. So you have this area of the unknown. What do I get to play in? Well, I can go to try to qualify for the Southern. I can go try to qualify for this, that, or the other amateur tournaments. I may get in. I may not get in. I know I can try to qualify for the U.S. Amateur, right? I can go try to qualify for the Western, maybe, the Pac Coast, things like that. And all of a sudden, you don't have a lot of tournaments. Well, coaches want those guys to play in this summer. You don't get better sitting on the bench in golf. So the idea of what if we ran our own series of events in the summer, specifically for men's college golfers that are either on the team last year, so that means kids that are going to be coming back, could be for players that finished their eligibility the previous year and haven't turned pro yet. They're going to wait until after the U.S. Amateur. Okay, so they're eligible too. What about the kids coming in? Well, they've aged out of junior golf. Okay, so they're in the gray area. They have no place to play unless they're in that top 1 or 2%. And then this year we've got in the kids that are taking a gap year because of COVID. We added those in. So the idea was, let's give these guys a chance. Let's run it ourselves, GCAA. Let's make it top competition. Let's run it the way that most of these college golfers know of the AJGA, things like that. All right, and we're off and running. That was where the idea came from. The board had approved this for the summer of 21 back in December of 19. So here comes COVID, March of 2020. And the reality is we weren't even thinking about running the summer series until 21 anyway. We wanted to get it all set up. So what happens? Kids don't have any place to play. So the idea, okay, can we run some events around the country at the end of the summer of 2020 and into the fall when we don't know who's going to play because of COVID? The answer was we did. What started off as the idea of running 6 or 8 events on weekends across the country turned into running 25 events from August the 15th until December 31st of 2020. 25 events. Crazy. They're all 54-hole events, all Wagger points, scratch player points, everything like that. And so that became a test run. So now we're in the summer series, the original one that was dreamed up by our board in December of 19, and we're off and running. I think it was an evolution of an idea, and just so many things happened between the time it was conceptualized, approved, and now the implementation of it. But I have to give credit to one. There was Barry Rodenhaver, former coach, ran an event, ran a tour way back when. I would have to go back to 2000 and probably maybe 2013, 14. And he had one with, and they ran one. It was just a little before its time because there were so many amateur tournaments to play back then, and there was no Wagger. That's how it happened.
Wow. And you keep mentioning the Wagger points. We know that the amateur events and that the amateur series last fall ran with Wagger points. What's the difference mainly between this summer series and all the amateur events? We know we want to create a greater field of players for those who aren't in the top 150, but physically and systematically, how is the summer series different from all the other amateur events?
Well, it's different in the sense that the fields, the eligible participants are all college players, all male college players, either coming in, on, or just finished, as long as they're an amateur golfer. Okay? So by the nature of college golf, those are pretty high quality fields. So the stronger the field, the stronger the Wagger points that are going to be given out for that particular event. And, the Wagger, it's become the gold standard. Whether you think the Wagger is the best ranking, or whether you like scratch players, whether you like Sagarin, et cetera, whatever it is, that's your own personal preference. It's kind of like which way you like, white wine or red wine, okay? But at the end of the day, the Wagger is the gold standard because it's the one that's accepted the most places. So stronger the college fields, stronger the fields in the summer, the more you can move up with Wagger points.
Gotcha. What I personally like about this summer series a lot in the way it's run is that there's 2 awesome incentives at the end of the summer series. One is the amazing fund that John Rice is giving to the top teams, or the top team with the most entries. We've talked about this a little bit. We talked about it in our interview with John. We've been posting on social media a little bit. But can you tell us a little bit about how the relationship with John Rice began and why he's been our main sponsor this whole entire time? And then just a little bit about his grant that he's giving out to one of the top colleges.
Well, John Rice has been a long time USGA rules official at the highest level. Additionally, he actually was the men's coach at the University of Cincinnati for several years. So John, over the years, has been a huge supporter of all things GCAA and men's college golf. Also women's, but more so on the men's side, GCAA side. So, his fingerprints are all over a lot of things we do, one of which is the John Rice internship program. He has a strong connection with college education and with the GCAA. So we used to have interns here at the GCAA. And one day he said, why don't we just do these? I'll underwrite these for you all so you can have a few more. Well, that was fantastic. We made it the John Rice internship program. And you say, well, why? What does that mean? Well, many people that are going to be watching this are familiar with the USGA's, the boat right scholars, the boat right interns. And unfortunately, the GCAA is in a gray area. We don't qualify for that because we don't do some of the things that golf associations do. Yeah. So the USGA tried to fit us in there. It just didn't work. So we made the John Rice internship program, which, if you just say you have an internship at XYZ, and most of the young people that are watching this are going to watch this, they're going to relate to getting an internship in something. Well, when it has a names tied to it and it becomes something that's passed down, it seems to have a little more cachet on your resume. So that's one of the reasons we did it. So we've had John Rice internships now here for the GCAA for probably 6 years. So as we went to the fall series last year, that was as a direct result of COVID. John Rice helped us with the rules officials. He's been a USGA official, as I said, for a long time. He became the one of the co-chairs of the Arnold Palmer Cup rules with Mary B. Porter King several years back. And John said, well, why don't I help you with the series, and let me help you find the rules officials for that AM series that we did last fall. That was a result of COVID. Well, it's a lot of rules officials for a lot of events. And as we started talking about the summer series, he loves the idea, and he said, well, let me get the amateurs, I'll get the rules officials lined up for the summer series, which he has again. And then he said, why don't we make this a little more formal? I have a foundation, the John T. Rice Foundation, and what if we made them the presenting sponsor? So that's what we did. It was John's initiative. It's a carryover. I mean, we could have called him the AM series could have had it presented by John T. Rice Foundation, but we just didn't do it that way. And everything happened so quickly. So so now John's involvement is not only yes, financial through his foundation, but it's also bringing all these rules officials involved with the series, which is just good for college golf. It's good for the amateur players. It's good for the college players to know these rules officials. And it's worked out fabulously.
Yeah, and we truly appreciate all John has done for both the GCAA and just amateur golf in general. He's had an amazing career. He's going into his 25th year with the NCAA championships, which is absolutely incredible. The second incentive I want to get into is the Mackenzie Tour exemption that'll come in the championship tournament Thanksgiving weekend. How does this exemption help with the relationship between amateur golf and professional golf? It seems there's this rare tie that's coming into play here. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I missed a minute ago. I wanted to say, you asked me about John Rice's involvement with the summer series. His foundation is giving a $10,000 donation to the golf program who has the most individual starts in the summer series. So that means you could have XYZ school that has 25 players play over the course of the summer in all the events. And if that's the most, they're going to get a $10,000 donation to their program, which is crazy. It was his idea. To some schools, that's probably not going to be a huge difference. Some of the schools that jump on an airplane and jump on their net jet and fly off to the sunset, okay? But to most schools, that's a big deal. So John had this idea, so that's crazy good for the programs. But now you talk about the tours. So as we had this, we conceptualized the series. If you're going to have a series, you need to have a series or a tour championship, just like the tour. It's never been done in amateur golf. Think of amateur golf as one-off. You play the XYZ amateur, it's over. Next year we'll do it again. Okay? So now we're playing a series of tournaments, much like a tour, like the PGA Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, the McKenzie Tour, which is the United States, which is the players in Canada. You've got the Latino America. You've got PGA Tour China. You got the Pfau Tour. I mean, you got them all over the place. They're all tied to something. So amateur golfers don't ever have the benefit of having their names work up a list. In other words, the rankings on the tour, the publicity it comes with being one of the top players on the tour. It's just different. So we said, why don't we go down that road? So we reached out to the PGA International Tours. And luckily, one of the senior vice presidents, Rob Ono, his son just graduated this year, played college golf. And so we said, hey, how could we tie in to what you all are doing and incentivize the tour championship and try to tie college men's golf and help the relationships between all these international tours, which is what they're trying to do with everything they do. I mean, let's think about PGA Tour University, et cetera, et cetera. And we were very, very lucky that, that Rob, he has an affinity for college golf. And so he helped us, so this year, it's going to be at Thanksgiving. It's going to be at Oak Hills in San Antonio, great golf course. And the top 66 players, either they finished in the top 3 at one of the events, or they finished the next 36 on the rankings, will be invited to go to San Antonio. We're going to make it special. We'll make it different. Oak Hill's got some great plans for how they're going to make this more like a tour championship. Mm-hmm. And we're going to put an exemption onto a McKenzie Tour event for 22 on the line. Are we looking to do more things in the future? Sure. But on the short notice of this year, Latino America and PGA Tour China are not even playing because of COVID right now. So we really couldn't do anything there. So let's get it started, and then we let it go from there. And that's an incentive. You have if you're coming back next year as a senior, and you play well and you win this thing, well, then you've got to start on the McKenzie Tour, which helps you get points to get on the Korn Ferry Tour. So it's just a place to start. So it should be special.
Yeah, it truly will be. And Gregg, we thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to join us today, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
Hey, Cade, we appreciate it. We're going to look forward to having you as one of our John Rice media interns and your cohort in crime, Alex Gelman. You guys are going to be making and promoting all these players that we're talking about. We're going to make, as I say to you guys, I want you to make them rock stars, okay? I want you to help promote the successes that they have this summer and all the highlights that they have. I want you to find the unique relationships, unique things about those individuals. As a current college golfer, as you are, Cade, you understand there's things that people don't know about Cade. Well, let's find out what they are about the people on the GCAA Summer Series presented by the John T. Rice Foundation.
Yes, sir. We'll make it happen. Thanks, Gregg.
Thanks.
And a great conversation there with Gregg Grost. And now let's talk about the courses that we're going to be attending over the summer series. We have 10 events spread out throughout the summer. And the first course, the Pfau course, located in Indiana, on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. And it was designed by the highly acclaimed architect, Steve Simers. And it's a brand new course in Indiana, and it has one of the finest practice facilities in the area. You see so many nice college facilities built. It's going to be great to go out to the Pfau course.
Yeah, Pfau in Indiana, one of the nicer Big Ten courses that are out there. It should be an amazing time. That following weekend, that one's on June 14th through the 16th. The following week, we've got on June 21st through the 23rd in Raleigh, North Carolina at Lonnie Poole Golf Course, home of NC State University. Another brand new course, originally opened up in 2009, designed by Arnold Palmer and his golf team, named after Lonnie Poole Jr. an NC State grad and the founder of Waste Industries. It's going to be playing this course at a long a little over 7,300 yards. Pretty long, but it's mainly a few specific holes, such as the number 3 hole, which is going to be playing at as a par 4, 552 yards, and the par 5 11th, looking out over Raleigh at 665 yards, par 5. This one's going to be a beast for our players. What I love about Lonnie Poole is the natural diversity. You've got the elevation changes that go with the Neuse River watershed that's right there in Raleigh. One of only 2 college courses certified as a certified Silver Audubon International Sanctuary. The grass diversity is amazing. Fairways are 419 Bermuda, but the rough has also Bermuda, but also it has fescue that's different mixtures of blue stem and broom sedge. Tee boxes are, get this, ready? Tee boxes are Bermuda grass when they know it's in the sun, and Zeon, Zorro, Zoysia grass in the shade. And that also is Zoysia in the bunker outlines as well. But the diversity of this course is amazing. Lonnie Poole definitely has a history. 2014 and 18, it held Division I men's regional championships. It's held a U.S. Open Championship qualifier in 2017. And in 2021, this year, it's been ranked 12th among college campus courses. Really nice to be able to go out to Lonnie Poole.
Well, definitely looking forward to Lonnie Poole. And following Lonnie Poole, we're going to head out to Tennessee National, which is ranked by Golf Digest one of the top 10 courses in the state of Tennessee. It's a par 72, plays a bit over 7,300 yards, and another state-of-the-art practice facility, over 19 acres, that practice facility in Tennessee. The players are going to love it. It's going to be a great experience for the players to get out to Tennessee National. Not everyone able to get over the East Coast. We have a lot of West Coast players, but hopefully we can get some players to travel over. It's going to be a great course, and looking forward to Tennessee National.
No, Tennessee National is definitely one of the pristine courses of the East Coast, and people are definitely going to want to come. Following July 4th, that one actually, Tennessee National, will be played on June 28th through the 30th. Following July 4th, on July 7th through the 9th, we'll actually be in Frankenmuth, Michigan at the Fortress Golf Course. Designed in 1902 by architect Dick Nugent, it plays at just over 6,800 yards. One of our shorter courses, still par 72. But what's unique about this course is it actually has a Scottish design. It's straight, it's a little bit open, but it's got a small tree line that makes it almost an American modern course as well. There's plenty of bunkers. There's about 75 bunkers, and they'll have this weird kind of shapes. But with the bunkers, with the straight fairways, Golf Advisor actually had the Fortress as in 2019 in the top 25 of courses for layout in the US. It's a beautiful design. Bent grass on all tees, fairways, and greens. Greens average around 7,500 square feet. Beautiful, just visual course, as I like to put it. Golf Advisor also had this course as the top 25 friendliest golf courses in the US. So fun facts about the Fortress, but it's going to be amazing to get up there beginning in July. Back-to-back weekends on July 12th through the 14th, we'll head straight from the Fortress over to Monterey Bay in California to the Bayonet Golf Course, part of the Fort Ord Bayonet and Black Horse duo. Originally built by General Robert D. McClure in 1954 on the former Fort Ord out there in Monterey. The course gets its name actually from the 7th Infantry Light Fighter Division, which was nicknamed the Bayonet Division. In 2007, it went through a major renovation by award-winning architect Gene Bates. It still plays at par 72. It's actually gotten a little longer than before, plays at about 7,100 yards. All new turf, Jacqueline T1 bent grass. What I love about this course, Alex, is that the iconic 8 through 15 hole stretch might be one of the most difficult that we're going to play on this entire series. 8 and 9 to finish off the front 9, total with a par 4 and a par 5, total 1,089 yards straight uphill. One of the longest stretches we've seen, but then 11 through 15 are 5 straight sharp dog legs that the course itself has nicknamed Combat Corner. This course is going to have an amazing roster come 2021 events, not only with the GCAA, but Bayonet will be hosting the West Coast Women's Amateur Championship, a U.S. Amateur Sectional Qualifying, a Champions Tour Open Qualifier, and a Safeway Pre-Qualifier for the PGA. Probably one of the most decorated courses the GCAA will play, and it's all the way over there in Cali. It's going to be a fun time.
And a week after the Bayonet course, we look forward to going to Tallahassee, the Seminole Legacy Golf Club, July 19th to the 21st, and fresh off a multi-million-dollar golf course renovation led by Nicholas Design. The Seminole Legacy Golf Club offers unrivaled golf experience for all their players. Stretches over 7,800 yards, one of the larger courses we're going to see over the Summer Series. Depends what yardage we play for the tournament, but the golf course offers surprising elevation. You can see up to 50 feet going from down low up to the greens, and also stunning visuals throughout the golf course. Old oak trees throughout the course, pine trees. Seminole Golf Course is a beautiful golf course. Looking forward to getting down to Florida.
Yeah, Florida. I think it's awesome that you mentioned the elevation changes considering it's Florida, but Tallahassee's almost that sneaky kind of way of surprising you when you're out there with how many different elevation changes it's got. Along with Florida State, Oklahoma University will be hosting an event of their own the same week on July 20th through the 22nd. This course was originally opened in 1951 by architect and native Oklahoman Perry Maxwell, but it went through a massive renovation in 1996 by architects Robert Cupp, along with Trip Davis, who, get this, he's a golf course architect, but he was also a member of the 1989 OU Men's National Championship golf team, coached by our very own Gregg Grost. Finished major renovations in 2017. This one playing at just over 7,400 yards, par 72. This one's unique in that every single hole has a nickname. I love these names. The shortest par 5, which is only 584 yards, is nicknamed The Adventure. Number 15, which is a 260-yard par 3, is called Run It On, with the massive fairway leading up to the green. And with the 15th comes the final stretch of holes, 15 through 18, which I believe will honestly decide this tournament in mid-July. The final holes yardages are par 3, 260, two par 4s measuring 425 and 485, and then the final par 5 is a massive 586. Looking forward to some competitive golf out there in Oklahoma. Jimmie Austin has also hosted 6 different NCAA regionals, along with the 1998 and 2010 Big 12 Women's Championship. So a classic college course, and July is going to get interesting.
Well, you mentioned July getting interesting. Norman's going to be great, but Carlsbad, California might be even better out in Omni La Costa Resort and Spa. July 27th to the 29th. My birthday actually on the 29th. I'm looking forward to celebrating it out there. But Omni La Costa, a beautiful golf course. The Champions course, that's where we're going to be playing. It's a link-style golf course. It has a lot of generous landing areas, deep bunkers, firm, fast conditions. Holes 1 through 3 and 13 through 18 were used in the PGA Tour rotation. And the Champion course was ranked number 20 by California on Golf Week magazine. Omni La Costa is a beautiful golf course. Looking forward to California. And we're going to stay out on the West Coast that same week, August 2nd to 4th. We're going to travel out to Washington, the Gold Mountain Golf Club, which is another beautiful golf course. It's a bit hillier, and some say it's a bit difficult to walk, but our players will walk it, and it has it's a different level for each golfer. A lot of mounds, collection areas up on each green, but it's a link golf course. It's hosted a regional back in 2015 for the NCAAs. The Gold Mountain West Golf Course is going to be great in Washington.
Yeah, in Washington, we're going to go all the way over to Pennsylvania that same week, August 3rd through the 5th. We're going to be in Washington and Pennsylvania at Penn, one of Penn State's home course, the blue course, in fact, of their blue and white courses. Penn State blue course, built originally in 1921, but had a renovation in 1994. Another renovation in 2006 by Willie Park Jr., Ferdinand Garbin, and David Heatwell. Plays at 7,200 yards, 7,219. This one, honestly, with the conclusion of the GCAA Summer Series happening in Pennsylvania, this honestly, Alex, might be one of the easier courses. It's not a super difficult layout. You have to drive it well. You're going to have to hit greens. There's not a ton of bunkers. There's 27 greenside bunkers. That's going to be one of the biggest parts. Approach starts might be difficult than normal, but on the back nine, you've got 11 fairway bunkers. It's definitely going to be one of the harder approach shot challenges on the series, but one that I feel like is going to have a lot of scoring opportunities. This course has hosted the Second Mile Charity Golf Tournament, the PIAA State Championships, Big Ten Men's and Women's Golf Championships, and has also hosted the PGA Junior Series before. So a lot of history at Penn State. One of kind of the younger courses, I'd say, when it comes to major championships, but one that I think will be easy for our East Coast players out there up north. Not a lot of huge elevation changes. One that I'm personally looking forward to end off the 2020 GCAA Summer Series. So those are our 10 events, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get to our last guest on the show today, John Rice, our official sponsor. Alex, take it away.
Joining us now, John Rice, head rules official of the GCAA Summer Series, along with his foundation, the John T. Rice Foundation, being the lead sponsor of the series. John, how are you doing today?
Good. What are you guys up to?
Nothing much. We got the NCAAs coming up soon. Got
Right.
the GCAA Summer Series starting first week of June. And the first question we want to ask is, what are you most looking forward to about this GCAA Summer Series?
Well, the good thing about this summer series is it's going to provide the opportunity for as many players as are going to be in the, around this summer to compete on a really high level. There are a lot of really good golfers who oftentimes don't get into the tournaments they want. In fact, I had a coach call me yesterday trying to get one of his players into the Southwestern Am, which I'm a director of. And, so there are a lot of kids out there who aren't going to be able to play on what I call the cocktail circuit. And this is going to provide them a really fine opportunity to play great golf courses, number one, against their peers. They're going to be playing for Wagger points. So it should be a really, really good experience.
Thanks, John. Just for a little bit of background on Mr. Rice for our audience, he was a businessman until 1990, retired from that area, coached at Northern Kentucky University and then Cincinnati University until 1996, became an official certified rules official in 1995, and that's when you began to work the NCAA championships. And now I believe this will be, 25 years in a row this upcoming year, or was it last year?
No, last year would have been 25 in a row, but we didn't have it. So this is my 25th, and proud to say nobody has been in more D1 finals than I have. And so
Wow.
I've been very fortunate, been very lucky to be asked every year to participate. And it's something I look forward to. It's one of the great weeks of my life.
Well, and we thank you for helping us with this summer series. And that's kind of what my question is. What inspired you to help fund the GCAA Summer Series?
Well, it goes back originally to how I got involved with the GCAA many years ago, when I learned that there were interns there that were not going to be eligible for a boat ride internship, which is something that the USGA, that the USGA grants to state and regional golf associations, and the GCAA didn't qualify under what the USGA was looking for as far as those kinds of associations. So I stepped up and said to Gregg Grost, who was then the head man, still is, let me provide you with the funding for interns. And so that's how it started. And as we moved along, I've done that for a number of years. This past fall, when we had the fall series, one of the things that was somewhat of a where are we going with this was the budget, and how are we going to compensate the referees that are going to be working these events. And I said, don't worry about it. Let me take care of the referees. And that was fun. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with my foundation that's going to fund the referees' expenses, plus per diems and all that good stuff throughout the summer. So it's been a long, beautiful partnership with the foundation and the GCAA, and hopefully it'll continue.
And you mentioned the referees, the rules officials, 10 events, and we've already had a few meetings with some of the golf courses. Talk about the world-class rules officials that'll be taking part in these tournaments. Not only having world-class golfers, but now able to have rules officials at the tournaments as well.
Well, one of the things that's been really good for, that I've been able to do is I've been officiating since 1995. And I've done a number of USGA events as well as NCAA events. And I've met, the top officials in the country. And in fact, some of the officials that are going to be working these events, I have not met, talked to them, know their credentials and all that. But it's a world-class team, as you mentioned, Alex. Out here on the West Coast, we have Jim Moriarty, who is a legend. No tournament goes on without Jim saying, okay, I'll run that one. I'll take care of that. He's at a regional this week up in Washington. On the East Coast, Kurt Faxon, he runs Division III National Championship. Mike Peluso up in Washington, he runs Division II National Championship. I used to run it, and when I stepped away, Mike Peluso came in and did that. I'm just looking at the list here. Grover Walker, another legend in the USGA. He's done more, I think, more USGA events, certainly than I have, and maybe more than most people on the planet. David Thompson out in Oklahoma. He's on our NCAA committee. Jesse Barge, he's with the PGA. And there are a couple of guys whom I haven't met. I've met Ron Gaines, don't know a lot, but I know he's one of the top guys in the country, and on and on and on. So, it's the A team. They're highly qualified and highly experienced.
John, I'd love to turn to the player aspect of this series. With the addition of the exemption to the Mackenzie Tour, and we'll get to that in a second, that's the championship on Thanksgiving weekend, you have also provided a reward for the school program that has the most entries in the season. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What was your reasoning behind it, and what would you like to see out of it?
You bet. This is the first year, and we wanted to, make this thing as big a splash as we possibly could. We wanted to get all these, great coaches that I'm going to see in the next couple of weeks up here at Greyhawk involved and behind it. And, it's a new thing. So Donnie Wagner, who's going to run this program, Greg and I sat down and said, how can we get these coaches more involved to encourage their players to come out and play in these events? So what we've done, the foundation is offering the coach's program, not the coach himself, but the coach's program, a $10,000 grant for the most entries that his team has. So if one of his players plays in all 10 events, that's 10, not just one player. That's 10. So, hopefully the coaches will A, know about it, and B, encourage their players to come and play because it's only going to help their programs.
And to end the 10-event summer series, we'll be in San Antonio in Thanksgiving weekend at Oak Hill Country Club. Talk about what this means, having a championship event, and also the winner of that tournament getting an exemption in the Mackenzie Tour.
Yeah, I mean, this is like going to East Lake for the FedEx Cup, the last round of the FedEx Cup. This is, it's going to be a season-long points program. The top players from all of these events are going to be invited to San Antonio right before Thanksgiving to compete one more time. The winner of that event is going to get an exemption into a upcoming 2022 Mackenzie Tour event, and my foundation is going to fund that as well. And so this is going to be an impetus for all these kids to play well, to play often if they can. We're going to have 10 events all around the country, but now that the airlines are opening up and the hotels are opening up, travel should be pretty easy for kids to hop a plane or check into a hotel and be able to play more than just a local or regional event that they're nearby. So yeah, it's going to be a real apple for them, real cherry at the end there to say, hey, I'm going to get into a Mackenzie Tour next year.
Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity and something that we in the golf world, especially the amateur level, don't really see that often. It's an amazing opportunity for sure. Now, this series, there's 10 events and we're going all across the country. I mean, we're starting in Indiana. We'll be all the way at Seaside, California, straight over to Tallahassee, Florida. I mean, it's going to be everywhere. Is there a specific event, a specific course? Is there something you would like to see come out of this series that might highlight what this is doing here?
Well, we're going to 10 great venues. 5 and 5 college events, college courses, and 5 non-college courses. I've been to a few of them. I'm looking forward to going to a few more. They're great venues, and going to the Bayonet at Fort Ord in Monterey, that's pretty special. Going to Gold Mountain up in Bremerton, Washington, that's pretty special. Tallahassee, they've got a regional going on there right now. Jimmie, Austin, I'm going to leave somebody out, but every course we're going to is great. The facilities are behind us, making our life pretty easy. So yeah, it's going to be special. I'm looking forward to it.
And John, I just have a real quick question about your foundation in particular. Is there any way for us to help support the John T. Rice Foundation or for us to learn more about it? I mean, I think this is a pretty new foundation you started, but is there any shout out you'd like to give to people to learn more about it?
Absolutely. Our mission statement is very broad. I don't want to, limit it to A or B or C, but, the foundation was started to help college golf programs, college golf players. That's the main thrust of what this foundation is. I've been so lucky in the game of golf and in the game of college golf to be around it and to be able to officiate and all of my friends, there are only a couple friends anyway, but all of my friends are rules folks and coaches. So that's what this foundation is there to help a struggling golf program, primarily that, and to do whatever I can do to help a golf program succeed and excel.
Well, Mr. Rice, we have a big couple weeks coming up. NCAA's in a few weeks. Then the summer series kicks off. It's going to be a great summer, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
No problem. And don't forget the Arnold Palmer Cup after D1.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be a great tournament out in Chicago.
We're going to be up at Rich Harvest Farms for our second visit up there for the Arnold Palmer Cup. And
do you have a prediction? Do we have a prediction here? International or Americans? What do you got?
It's going to be a great event, Cade.
No prediction.
I got you. Okay.
It's going to be good, and it always is. And it's It's a great opportunity for these kids to play an international event. You know, we're the first international event that have men and women together. And that's a feather in Gregg Grost's cap that this is it. It's pretty special. So looking forward to that.
We're looking forward to Chicago and the rest of the summer. It's going to be a great summer.
Yeah.
Appreciate the time, John.
My pleasure. Good luck to
Thank
you
you,
guys.
John.
Okay, you got it.
You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Well, we had an amazing time talking with John, and we've got a full slate of information to get into in the upcoming weeks. We got player analysis, more course details coming up. Our first event is only in 2 weeks, guys. So get ready. We've got more interviews coming, including our GCAA Summer Series director, Donnie Wagner, who Alex will be able to get to talk to next week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're a player out there, make sure you register at the GCAA website, collegiategolf.com. But Alex, I know I'm sure ready to get into this thing. It's summer and it's time to play some golf.
Well, I'm ready to. It's going to be a long summer traveling across the country, 10 different states, multiple golf courses. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So we look forward to taking the journey with you, Alex. Good luck out there in Scottsdale, and I'll see you next time.
See you later, guys.